Hey everybody, this is Brad Decater, and today I'm going to be talking to you about review dates. So what are review dates? What am I talking about? Should you do them as the seller? How do they work as the buyer? And what are all the details about them? So number one, what is a review date? A review date is when a seller lists their property for sale, and instead of just taking an offer and reviewing that offer when it comes in, we call that review upon receipt. So let's say you list your house on a Thursday and someone makes an offer on a Friday. You just review that offer. You may accept it, you may counter it, you may just say nothing at all, and then wait until maybe another offer comes on Monday. You review that, so on and so forth until you guys make a deal. Now, setting a review date happens a lot in a competitive market, and it's happening almost all the houses right now. If they're priced correctly, it's a good idea. We'll get into that later. But the review date is simply that we have a specific date that we're going to actually review all the offers at one time. And that's not to say that you cannot accept an offer early, because there's a stipulation when you say offer review date on a certain date, you do have the right to actually accept an offer early if you so desire. So how that typically works out in real time is, most good listing agents are gonna list the property Wednesday or Thursday, sometimes Friday, then usually have the weekend for their most activity, lots of showings throughout that time frame, and then have the review date Monday or Tuesday. Now, this is a great strategy for the sellers because it's the best way to get the most amount of offers all at the same time and essentially use them against each other and negotiate to get the highest and best offer, both terms and price, for the seller that you're representing. Now, as a buyer, unfortunately, it's really not a great thing for you, just because you're going to be going against a lot of other offers at the same time, potentially, which of course can drive that price up and makes your offer a little bit less competitive if there is, obviously better offers than yours. So the question is, as a seller, should I do a review date? And the answer I have for you is really depending on your pricing strategy. So if you're going to price the property at market value or below, I would suggest actually just a little bit below market value in this current market, just because it's a great strategy to get the multiple offer situation. Then I would absolutely, definitely do a review date. So you'll do the review date, just like I said, maybe 4 or 5 days after the actual listing date. Make sure it's after the weekend so you have lots of activity. Hopefully, if it's the right price and you marketed it correctly, in this market, you will get multiple offers. Like I said, if you price it right and if you market it correctly. So having the right realtor for one thing. But if you do this, then it is going to give you your best chance of getting the most amount of money possible. You're going to get obviously a quick sale for one, but also you're gonna be able to drive that price up. And the best part is usually you can start getting contingencies waived, which is super important for you as a seller too. Gives you the best chance of actually closing the deal, which of course is the most important thing. You want to get the house sold. So I'm gonna make another video about all the tips and tricks on making your offer strong. There's a lot of things, obviously price is typically one of the most important things, that makes sense. But the contingencies and the terms are super important too. Some of these are the inspection contingency, the appraisal, your financing, your down payment, your earnest money, your closing date, how long it's going to take, basically your ability to close in general. Now, to wrap things up, as far as sellers go, like I said, if you're going to price the property a little below market value or even at market value, I definitely would recommend it in this market right now. Things change, of course, so if you're watching this video down the road and it's a buyer's market, then obviously that would not be my strategy at that point. But right now we're getting 10 offers on every house for the most part if it's priced correctly. So the review date is a great way to get the most price, but also the best terms. The buyers essentially have to start waiving contingencies in order to get the house, because if they don't, they won't get it. So it is very important to do that if your strategy is to do it that way. Now, of course, you could have a strategy to list it. If, let's say, market value is $550, you could try and list it at $600 and try and kind of go backwards and have some negotiating room. Some sellers want to do that. I think it's a pretty bad idea, but it's certainly a strategy. So if you're doing it that way, obviously you wouldn't want a review date, because you're essentially not expecting to get an offer, or at least not multiple offers in that first week or so. So there's no point in having a review date. So hopefully this answers some questions about review dates, what they are, how they work, are they good, bad, for sellers, for buyers, and all that stuff. And again, I will make a video on how to, as a buyer and as a seller, separate videos, how to use these to your advantage and get the most amount of money for your home if you're selling, and to win these bidding wars if you're buying. Thanks for watching, guys, and don't forget to hit the like button, share my video if you think it was helpful, and I'm planning on putting a lot more content out this year, so please stay tuned. Thank you.